my name is Grace Riley, and I'm reporting for the American Spectator. Today, I am joined by a very special guest, Sam Sorbo. She is an education freedom advocate, and her mission is to help parents and their children emancipate from our modern school system. A successful Hollywood actress, writer, and producer, Sam stepped back from her own career to immerse herself in her in-home education for her three children. And today, she's joining me to talk about a new movie that her and her husband have put out, Miracle in East Texas. So thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me. Miracle in East Texas is a lot of fun, so I'm always happy to talk about it.
Absolutely. So just to begin, can you tell everyone just what Miracle in East Texas is, what the story is about, and why it's worth seeing?
So it's a tall tale based on an absolutely true story. That implies that it's a comedy, and it is. It stars my husband, Kevin Sorbo, and John Ratzenberger, who we all know and love from Cheers and every single Pixar movie that's ever been made. He's been in all of them. But we also have Tyler Mane, who is a big wrestler guy who played, I think, Cyclops in the Marvel movies. And then there's also Lou Gossett Jr., who plays a part as well. It's a comedy, but it's also the telling of the actual events that surrounded the 1930 oil strike in East Texas, which was, and I think still is, the largest oil strike in the contiguous United States.
It sounds really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Is there a specific reason that you were drawn to this story, you and your husband deciding to work on this film?
Well, it was written by a friend of ours, a man named Dan Gordon, who has won. He's Oscar nominated for The Hurricane with Denzel Washington and Wyatt Earp and with Kevin Costner and a bunch of other movies. And so when we saw the script, we both really liked it. I happen to like the historical aspect of the script. I like telling true stories. It's a story of redemption and forgiveness. These guys were scoundrels in actuality. But what they did was a great boon to the society at the time. Remember, this is 1930. This is Depression in Texas, in a very depressed area of the country. And so their oil strike brought prosperity to the community in a way that, was basically inconceivable. That's why it's called Miracle in East Texas. So it's just, the script was just that good. It was a lot of fun. We knew we had the budget to shoot it. We had the location to shoot it. There are a lot of different things that go into deciding, which movie to produce, basically. And so it just worked. It really was incredible. We mounted the movie in record time. I think 3 weeks total, which is like completely unheard of. And we got everything that we asked for, that we wanted, we found, just haphazardly. Like this, it not only is the story about a miracle, but the story about how we made the movie is a miracle also. And although you might be able to say every movie's kind of a miracle that they get done, because there's so many moving parts. We had a lot of fun on the set. My gosh, John Ratzenberger's a hoot. He's just hilarious all the time. He just has a very quick wit and a great sense of humor, much like my husband, actually. So we had a lot of laughs, and hopefully the audience can laugh along with us. They seem to be. It's won, my gosh, it's won Best Romantic Comedy, Best Comedy, Best Director, Best Drama, also, strangely. Like, it's just won a ton of different film festivals. And so I'm really proud about this film. I think it's going to really bless people. It's a really good story. It's a little bit of a tearjerker, but it's very uplifting. And of course, there's a lot of comedy in it. So it's, full of laughs also. And it's appropriate for the whole family, which was very important to me. I like making films that keeps families together. This is an opportunity for the whole family to go to the movies together. So I'm just very excited about it.
Yeah, no, it's really going to be great. I can tell. And just to that point, a lot of people are discouraged by Hollywood and feel like storytelling is on somewhat of a woke decline, which is understandable. What's your take on that and the importance of supporting family-friendly, value-based movies like the ones that you create?
Yeah, well, of course, first of all, the only reason I make them is because I'm also frustrated that I'm not able to go to the movies as often as I would like, because there's so much bad content that's being produced right now. But not only that, I fear for the future of the nation when our culture is being so obviously degraded by much of the entertainment that's out there. I mean, the fall of the Roman Empire was preceded by give them bread and circuses, right? Give them bread, just enough sustenance to get by, and distract them. And so we are living in a world of distractions, and it's very detrimental. So I'm really proud of being able to offer a film to the public that is not only uplifting and inspirational, but actually historical. So you learn a little bit about history. In fact, I developed a curriculum to go with the movie for homeschoolers, also one for discussion groups. So you can go as a group or have all your friends go to the movie and then host an evening at home with all your friends and discuss some of the themes of the movie that are actual and real, and have like a meaningful conversation, not just how's the weather and, oh, I mean, my car broke down and you'll never believe what the guy was wearing when he came to pick up my car, or whatever. These sort of silly conversations that we have, we ought to be having some interesting in-depth conversations from which we emerge like better, that we learn something, or we emerge as with a broader base of knowledge or a better understanding. And so those are the kinds of films that I like to do. We also created sermon notes for pastors, because one of the themes of the movie is forgiveness. That's an important theme to me. It's an important theme to the Christian church. It's an important theme to America. And right now we're living in a very unforgiving culture. That's what cancel culture is. Canceling somebody means there is no forgiveness available to you. You have done evil and you will never recover from it. And that's a very dangerous proposition.
Absolutely. And something meaningful like this that allows for those more meaningful conversations is definitely exactly what we need right now more than ever. But I want to give you a chance before we end to share a bit about what you do. So, Miracle in East Texas is an excellent alternative to the woke Hollywood downtrend. But what's the solution in education? Because you're very passionate about education and real education. And I'd love for you to share more about what you do with that and just maybe some hope for parents.
Yeah, well, of course, that's my mission field. You know me too well. My whole mission is to get kids out of school. I think that schools have become, and have been for many years, by the way. I don't think that it's just this most recent sort of trend that parents have seen during COVID, what the schools are up to. I think that the schools have been up to very bad behavior for a very long time. And we are only seeing sort of the final culmination of all of the behavior that preceded it. So when people say to me, oh, well, the schools are broken, I say, no, they're not broken, and you can't fix them. They are working exactly as they were designed. And so my goal is to get children out of school. And the way that I go about that is, first, I convince the parents the truth is education is not happening in the school, nor will it ever happen in the schools. And in fact, if you think that you can't homeschool, it's because you weren't actually educated. So then why would you put your child into that environment, since you yourself are living proof that it did not work for you? And so I've developed resources for parents. Everything, by the way, is available at sorbostudios.com. So you can get tickets to the movie, and you can get all of the resources, the free downloads, and all of my homeschooling resources are available over there as well. I've written several books. One of the books that I wrote is called The Playbook for Home Learning, and that is sort of the anti-brainwashing, the undoing of all the brainwashing that we underwent as parents, as children, that parents had undergone in the schools, to set them free. Because the reason that we feel so beholden to the schools is because it's actually a system of slavery, and we've been enslaved. So we're wearing the virtual chains of the system. And so we feel like we have to put our children in there, even though we see the damage that's being done currently. in real time we see it done. I honestly, I don't understand parents who send their children to school having seen the random school shootings that happen at the most innocuous places, or the violence on the playground, or the violence in the school bathrooms. And there's so many examples of this, and you think, well, not in my school, but all of those parents thought not in their schools also. And yet we are so enslaved. We have such the slave mentality. It's like we're the elephant on the string, right? We are powerful enough to educate our children ourselves, but we've been so conditioned as young individuals, as young elephants with the chain on our foot, that we've learned that there's no reason to try to break the chain. Even and so, as an elephant, as a very large elephant, you can hold the elephant with a little string. He feels the string. He knows that it's useless to try to rail against it, and he won't escape the system. And I think we are locked in that same sort of paradigm as adults and as parents. And so the Playbook for Home Learning is a series of 15 videos that retrains you in the way that you think about education, because the way you think about education is the way you were taught to think about education in school. And so we need to break those pathways that have formed in your brain so that you think about education properly, in truth, and then you can impart that truth to your children. And it's very exciting. I get letters from parents almost all the time, and different avenues. Some people reach out on the website, some people reach out on locals or on Instagram, and they tell me, and in fact, I've even posted a few videos with parents when I had the mind to think of doing a quick video with them, thanking me for encouraging them 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, and giving me the update of where they are with their child. And it's been such an incredible blessing. And people, they reject it out of hand because they have no idea what it is. And then you see these parents who are like, you told me 3 years ago, and I just took a leap of faith, and I didn't think that I could do it. And I got to tell you, we're 3 years down the road, and it's going better than I could have ever imagined. And that's what I tell people is you can't possibly imagine it, how great it can be. So I developed a homeschool resource to go with the movie, and it's a free download. And if you thought you could never homeschool and you don't even want to give it a shot, then I encourage you, go to sorbostudios.com, download the free homeschool packet. Don't look at it because it contains spoiler alerts. So don't look at it before you go watch the movie. Go watch the movie with your kids and then open it. And it gives you the opportunity to just try on a little bit of what home education can look like. And it's fun. And maybe that will give you a taste, or at least a glimpse sort of behind the curtain, so that you can imagine that it isn't really what you think it is. It's actually better. A lot more fun, a lot more freeing, a lot better than what you might imagine based on what you did or understood from school.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Just to reiterate, so the movie's out, I believe it's what, October 29th and 30th in theaters?
Yes, and
Yes.
tickets are on sale now. So I encourage you to get your tickets, because the more tickets we sell now, the more theaters we'll get and the more dates we'll get. And so we're looking to sell out before we get there. So go get your tickets now. Go to sorbostudios.com. All the information is right there. Miracle in East Texas. Bring your family, bring your friends. And also, by the way, there's a big push against, I would say, against movies like this, because the mainstream media isn't involved and it's not their values. And so if a movie like this expresses your kind of values, traditional American values, it's that simple. If that's your values, please tell 10 people, because it's very difficult for us with a very low budget to get the word out. And so we're relying on people like you to help us get the word out so that we can keep producing this kind of fun, entertaining, and uplifting content that is supportive of traditional American values. And I think that's so important. Don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And it really is a light in the darkness of Hollywood that a lot of people are noticing. It's a light, and the way that these lights can get brighter is if we all come together, we get our tickets, we get excited for a movie like this and continue to support it. So I'd encourage everyone to go to sorbostudios.com and buy their tickets and get excited to go with your friends or family because it really will be a great movie. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.